Pleased to have here on this program 1 week from the NFL season beginning on Thursday Night Football. This Sunday will be 1 week removed from the Detroit Lions starting against the Chicago Bears. And back here on the show is the head coach of the Detroit Lions, Matt Patricia. How are you, Coach?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. You're on Tom Coughlin time today. I thought you were calling in right now, but you called in 5 minutes early. Was I unaware? Is that you were 5 minutes before?
Yeah, no. I think we totally threw you for a loop there. That's
it's all good.
That's on my end. I apologize. I was just so excited. You know what I mean?
Now I hear you. I can audible at the line. It's okay.
I did the math wrong in the whole West Coast thing. So apparently there's a 5 in there that I missed.
No problem. It's okay. Like I said, I can handle what comes at me. I'll just I've got time. I have no time management problems here at all. I can handle whatever I can handle. It's all good. I appreciate you calling in. Let's start with last week. Let's just jump right into the world that we live in, Coach. It was a week ago this past Tuesday. We all know what the NBA decided to do and stop playing games because of the shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, of Jacob Blake. But the Lions, the day before the NBA decided to stop playing, your team did not practice and then stood outside the facility with a sign that said, "We won't be silent." Walk me through how the canceling of practice developed a couple of Tuesdays ago, if you don't mind.
Yeah, really, I think with our team that we have right now, we've had some great conversations going back to the spring. I think when guys really opened up and really shared, and everyone, I would say, even though we were virtual in the Zoom world, really just listened, and they just paid attention to guys that were telling stories and life experiences, and describing what it's like for everyone from different backgrounds, and I think it was a really it was a big moment for us in the spring to really grow as a team. We would just spend hours listening to each other, and I thought that was important. And when we finally got together for training camp, you could feel that bond. You could feel the camaraderie between the guys and how much they cared for each other. And really, that Tuesday when I got into work, I'm usually a little bit last to know on things that are going on outside of my little bubble. But I obviously had heard about everything that was going on in Wisconsin and was trying to get caught up on it. And it was just a situation where, I walked into the team meeting that morning and just wanted to make sure the players were okay. Just wanted to check in. Just wanted to see how everybody was doing. I didn't really feel like talking about football. And we just, we spent the next 2.5 hours having conversation. And I think one of the things that, we talked about was just guys saw it and kind of just moved on and how, really, that we didn't think that was right. We thought it was more important to make sure that we continued the conversation, and guys really shared a lot. So it was really a very impactful morning, and obviously the first time that we had an opportunity to do that as a group in person. And really, when you're a team and you have brotherhood and guys that you care about, and you see and feel all the different emotions that they feel, and from ranging from pain to fear to anger to sadness. It affects you and it affects everybody. So just kind of came to a head. The players had some great conversations after we got done as a team, and I talked to everybody and just knew it was going to be one of those days where didn't really feel like going out and practicing. That the world and life and everything else that was going on was more important. And I was just really proud of our guys for having the comfort to have that space to talk to each other and to listen and to grow. And, that was just really important for us.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at the photograph that we just put on the screen of the grease board saying the world can't go on, which is a phrase you used just a couple of seconds ago. And I'm just thinking, and you see, the masks that everyone's wearing, and, there's no preseason games, and we're wearing masks. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and you read the room and said, you know what, we don't want to talk football today, and we're going to go out and we're going to talk about social justice issues within the team, and we're going to make it known to everybody. How does a coach prepare for something like this, world? To read a room like that and then also understand that there's football to be played in just a couple of weeks? What are you drawing upon right now, Matt Patricia?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that question. Obviously there's no playbook for this. Anything that kind of we're going through right now. So I look for the leadership of the team. I really do. I got a great group of guys. The leadership of the team is outstanding. These guys are just, they're amazing, and they're super smart. They've got great things to say, and I learn so much from them every day that, I really just try to lean on them to lead where we're going to go. I'd say, the other point for me really is probably a good it was probably a good check for me, too, as a coach. I think that when I got into coaching, one of the things that I said was the reason to kind of leave engineering and get into coaching was, I wanted to make a difference in young men's lives and be there as a mentor and a teacher and obviously help in the game that I love. I love football. I'm passionate about it. It's what I do. But, when you get to the highest level in the competitiveness and everybody wants to be there at the end, that is certainly the focus, but, underlying all of that is trying to make a difference in people's lives. And it was probably a good check for me, too, just to make sure that I'm doing my job as a coach as far as that's concerned and being there to listen and to help and to guide in whatever way I can.
Matt Patricia, Detroit Lions head coach here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's start talking about week one. There's a conversation about who the starting quarterback in Chicago is going to be and how there's no announcement just yet. Who do you expect to see out there a couple Sundays from now, Coach?
That's a great question. I think they're doing a good job of either playing it close or they're still in their evaluation process. We'll find out if we don't know until game time. We'll certainly figure it out, but we'll prepare for all the different options. If you got any good resources or tips, let me know. If you can get somebody over there and find out what's going on, that'd be great.
I think it's going to be Trubisky. I really think so. I think you're going to see Mitchell.
Okay.
Out there, Matt.
All right, I'm going to mark you down for that one.
Well, I know you got a pencil back there, ready to mark it down. Do you have that pencil right now? Literally, you have it there right now.
I do actually. Right, I absolutely do. I've actually got 4 or 5 of them in front of me at the moment.
So use the most sharp one because that is, in fact, indicative of my sharpness. It's going to be Trubisky. I think you should write that one down.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's what we're going with. It's obviously interesting that we're starting the season so soon, but we're still, just finishing up training camp and trying to do everything we can here to get ourselves ready to go. It's been a short, interesting training camp. As a coach, I'm kind of getting that feeling like, did we get everything in? Are we good? Are we really ready for the season?
Yep.
And certainly there's a lot of questions, but I guess everybody's in the same boat. Everyone's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, with no preseason games, right? Wouldn't right now? I think would probably be, if I'm not mistaken, the final Thursday week for preseason games, where you'd be sitting in a room, I imagine, as you will be over the weekend, figuring out your final 53-man. How are you going to do that without having to see guys out there in a real, actual preseason game?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest challenges, I'd say, to training camp this year. We've tried to put the team in certain situations and simulate competition the best that we could in a controlled environment. We had a couple scrimmages. We had a couple series that were live. We've been out there, we've been tackling, we've been doing some of those fundamentals, and certainly as risky as it is, it's also important. There's no way we could expect to go into the first game without making sure that we're doing some of those things that are going to come up in the game from the physical standpoint of it. But I think the biggest concern really is going to be special teams. I think those plays, the speed and the space of those plays are just so hard to simulate in practice. Certainly, in the preseason games, you can get to see a little bit of that. You can evaluate it, and as much as we try to get those situations in practice full speed, it's just a little bit different in the game. So I think that'll be that'll be an interesting challenge for us.
All right. Well, and in terms of evaluating talent, you've got Jeff Okudah, the 3rd overall pick in the draft, and it seems like maybe you're and your staff a little cagey as to whether the Bears are going to see him when the game starts a couple Sundays from now. What's the evaluation on him right now as you are currently thinking about it, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. Well, we're grinding through all of it. We've got some guys at that position that have been really competitive, and Jeff's been out there working really hard to try to get the entire defense down. We know that it's going to be hard for all the rookies, really, without the spring, without OTAs, without an extended training camp to really get a full grasp of of the game and everything that we're trying to do. So we're going to try to be smart and certainly get him out there and get him in situations where we know, he can be successful and try to bring him along the best we can, especially through the first couple weeks of the season. So I know as a Wolverine, you're always interested in those Buckeyes. So, we'll see what happens.
You know what? I know he's very good. I've just from my own eye test, he's one of the many Buckeyes I'm glad that I will not have to see in the fall. On Saturdays.
Well, I think we drafted all of them, so I think they're all here.
Yeah, you and the Saints, it seems like it, just loading up on the Buckeyes. And you being a head coach for 3 years and being a coach as long as you have, and being from the Belichick family tree, you love talking about injuries. So let me ask you about DeAndre Swift. What can you tell me about his readiness? This stud from Georgia.
Yeah, so we're day by day.
Okay. Just like all of us.
I'm on you. I'm on you today.
Okay,
no, he's doing great. He's been working really hard. He's really smart guy. Really is doing a good job understanding everything that we're installing from that standpoint. We just need to get him out there and practice a little bit, and he'll be another guy that falls in the same category. It's just without that spring, without the training camp and some of the experience, there are certain things, I think, for the running back position, when you go from college to the NFL, some of the protection schemes, some of the blitz pickup schemes, that stuff takes a lot of time. It's much different than what it is in college. So from the overall picture of all the different things that we ask the running backs to do, I think that's where we're really trying to get him caught up from that aspect of it. Okay,
and a couple more minutes left with Matt Patricia, Detroit Lions head coach. You might not be fully up to speed on watching as much NFL Network as you possibly can. So I don't know if you missed, but Nate Burleson of Good Morning Football said he received a text from your quarterback saying he's going for the MVP this year. Are you aware of that? Are you aware of that?
No, I definitely missed. I missed that one.
On breaking news, yeah, Matthew.
Not caught that on my social media.
Yeah, Stafford just says he's going for the MVP. Now, I'm not saying that that's news. Probably every single quarterback feels that way going in. What do you think about when you hear that sort of conversation, that talk from number 9 on your roster, sir?
Yeah, well, you got to love it. I mean, Matthew Stafford is so competitive. He's had a great camp. He's been amazing. His leadership, the way that he's performed on the practice field. We've put him in some tough situations. He's done an outstanding job getting the offense right, and I just think that he's really, he's just dialed in. He's locked in, and I'm excited. He's so much fun to be around. He's a pleasure to coach. He obviously is a tremendous player, true competitor, and extremely, he's a tough guy. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, and then I'll ask you what I'm asking everybody from the NFL. They come on this program about COVID-19, and if you think that everything is set up in a way, and I'm sure you have delivered messages to your players to be careful when you're not in the building. Do you think everything is set up for 17 weeks uninterrupted to get an NFL season in, Coach Patricia? Do you think?
Yeah, certainly it is a constant reminder for everybody. I think we've kind of been into the training camp bubble here, so to speak, and everyone feels really comfortable in the environment that we're in. We all need to understand that that's going to change once we start to play games and we introduce, teams that are on different protocols or different situations, plus travel, plus everything on top of that. We know we're just going to have to be ready to adapt and adjust. It was the same in the spring. When we got into the Zoom, everybody was concerned how that was going to work from a virtual off season, and it was the same exact thing for training camp. How is training camp going to work? And once you get into it and kind of settle in and you get into that rhythm and that, normality, then everyone feels comfortable. I think it's going to be the same way to start the season. I think everyone's going to have a little bit of uneasiness about them, and then we'll figure out how to be as normal as possible in unnormal situations and the unnormal season, and then we'll go from there. But constant reminder to the guys just to be safe and how critically important it is to, not only stay safe for yourself, but your teammates and really your teammates' families. It affects everybody.
No doubt. No doubt. The number of vectors, so many people are focused on, well, young players might do something silly by going out and socializing. It's difficult to not be young in the NFL and try and live the trimmings of a life like that, for the lack of a better phrase. But, What about the veterans who've got kids who might be going to school, right? Or who want to go out and have a play date or something like that. And you got to be careful there because, obviously the testing is set up to make sure it doesn't come into the building, but you just don't know in this day and age,
Yeah, that's exactly right. And those are the points we try to make, and when you make decisions, you're certainly making those decisions that affect, your teammates, but everybody in our family.
Well, I appreciate the time, Coach. Really do. Last one before we go. Did you see Coach Belichick's Subway commercials? Did you check that one out? Have you seen that? Has that crossed your eye gate at all?
You know what? I heard it was out. I have not seen it.
Okay.
So I'm thoroughly awaiting to check that out. I know it's gonna be great.
Okay. So you have not seen the tape. I can show you. The eye in the sky does not lie. He's got some chops. He really does. He really, really does. I'm just telling you.
I love it.
He does.
I love it. I got to get like a hamburger deal or something. I see if I can get one of those going. That'd be great. Me and Andy.
There's a lot of
me and Andy. We'll get some cheeseburgers.
That was a line.
We'll wear our Tommy Bahama shirts and our cheeseburgers. Will be great.
You take care of yourself, Coach. Always appreciate our time together. You be well and safe, and best to your family and your team.
Yeah, thanks so much, Richard. And, I love talking to you and all that you do to help everyone out there. I know all of us feel the same way. We can't thank you enough. You're very generous, and we appreciate that a lot.
Right back at you, man. I know you're part of the Run Rich Run every year. You're so generous yourself. So +1, right back at you. Thank you for the call here in particular.
Take care. Be safe.
You got it, bud. That's Matt Patricia, head coach of the Detroit Lions. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.